Supreme, supreme. I've been thinking about cutting my locks off, yo. Like, this is the time when you need you. Like, I need me a lady. I need a woman in my life. Because I'm sitting here so indecisive about chopping my locks off. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I could be like, babe, what you think? I could cut my locks off? How you feel? She'd be like, yeah, you'll be cute without it still. Or, I zoom, zoom, zoom. I was about to do it, too. I was about to go ahead and zip, 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 zip. And I had cut the clippers on and everything. I was about to do it, and then I just stopped, like, because then I started thinking about when I did cut it before, and I got bold enough just to go in, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, yo, I should have never cut them, but it's all good. Um, yeah, we about to dive into a little piece of understanding, right? So each timeline, right, that existed. Keep in mind, and it's not like it's not like it's not recorded. It's just not comprehended. So Amatsu Enpa Entra Sauk Su Emit Ra Empa Entra Awu or Awu Ra Maketi Pa Heru Ra Nukpa Nuku Nukpa Nuku Nuka Pa Nukaku Nuka Pa Nukaku. If I'm saying it correctly. Baba Heru, a brother up north, used to be an ex-police officer. Got into the Kemetian understanding, the Kemetian language, and he told a story about the one that came from, the first one. The one that spoke, I am light. Now, it was perceived in Kemet that it was an egg that this being came out of. But the timeline is off. You know what I'm saying? The timelines is off. So I'm not saying that's not accurate. What I'm saying, that was more of a documentation, I believe. That's just me speaking to a value. I could be wrong, but we got to keep in mind it was beings that came here before the earth actually coalesced into, like, to have plant life and running water and rivers and all that. So that would kind of negate the value of it just being here and, you know, being able to speak the sounds of animals and stuff like that. So just in a vibration that I've gotten, a download that I've seen myself. This is why I talk about the light seeds. And when they came, yeah, it was a perception of a value to that to be eggs, but who's saying that? You know what I'm saying? You gotta think about that. And then also, I seen this one understanding where they had I don't know if it was an AI video or whatever, but the person had a king standing out there, and then the fallen fell from the skies, and he fell into the king, and then the king started acting all crazy. I'm gonna explain to you why that can't be actual. It can't be a legitimate way of looking at that, because these are physical beings. They're literally physical beings. They're not spiritual beings. When they fell into physicality. They fell into the structure, into the structure of being solid. This is why they were spoken as a beast. You're not a spiritual beast. You're not walking around here, ooh, in the woods. You're a real beast. And there are pictures. There's true documentations. You know what I'm saying? But those pictures that they show is the beings creation or offspring out of lack thereof, or what they understand, trying to learn how to walk. So everything they created was beasts. So you got pictures of these funny looking people walking on all fours, legs broke and all that, you know what I'm saying, the other direction. So when they fell into the same understanding, but they were different. Like I said, it's focused on the feet. A lot of the information that was available to know these things is gone. So we're not about to get deep into that because I already talked about a lot of that already. My point for bringing this up, though, was because before Tahuti, Thoth, Egyptian principles and all that, I truly believe that these are times of dilution, right? This is why they were able to actually have the particular wars that they were having, the aerial battles and stuff like that, because these are beings that was expressing that divine light energy. It was expressing it while it was a plan to take it, or a plan to limit it, or a plan to make it be lesser than what it was to where we are now. So there's existences that we don't even remember no more. We keep running back to Egypt. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where the megalithic pyramids was, the hieroglyphs and all that. And that was a time that represented when that light energy was sustainable or strong enough to fight back. So it's kind of like a marker in existence. Like, yo, that's when we were our strongest. This is why everybody wants to be Egyptian. You know what I'm saying? Every culture wants to be a part of Egypt. You know what I'm saying? Because that's when the representation of the light seeds was particularly strong enough to fight back to whatever energy, whatever fallen energies was available, right? Well, what people don't comprehend though, and they show it to you in different, you got books and stuff like that. They show you these different beings that look certain ways and funny looking, and they lived under the ground and all that. That was them trying to create their own culture. That was the fallen underground, like, yo, we gonna make it. And then they kept coming up with failed creations. Failed creations. You don't have to keep remaking something over and over and over to give it a name or say, oh, it has this, it has that. The only reason why I had any particular form of knowledge or a higher perception of vibration is because they was killing the seeds and using that to create their creations. That's where that came from. So I heard them say something about, oh, people with Down syndrome, they're on this vibration because they was created like this. And then there was like the elephant-headed man and the hairy person. And where do you think all that come from? I know nobody really want to look at it, but I really don't care. I just know the accuracy, you know what I'm saying, of attempts and what that would be if it was made in the divine. Divine said weigh everything by the spirit. You have to weigh it by the spirit. Weigh it, match it to the divine and weigh it. Divine don't make mistakes. Divine is not gonna be like, oh, I make creation, but then it failed. That would speak to divine being imperfect. It's not even a reality. So these creations that were made imperfect, that had some form of divine energy, was put on the forefront as a creation based off what the fallen was trying to do to replace what was already here, or dwindle down, or defile the name of the Most High, right? So with that being said, that's put into its own category. But we have to look at the timelines, because there's a time that existed before the actual light seeds knew what was actually taking place. How they lived and all that is not documented. You don't have that as a thing. The pyramids were created to create or conduct energies. This is why you had a capstone, you know what I'm saying, the shape of it and all that. It was able to conduct energies or spiritual energies that was inside of the beings. All these things are afflicted to a value to understand that it's not going to be relevant or in that same direction in the future. So they did their best with it. They got to the height as far as that understanding, but it still put us here. And then you got other situations that always want to throw in a mix of understanding. They speak confusion. They have to speak confusion. Everything that comes out of them has to be confusion. You can't take yesterday to tomorrow. It's just what it is. So they have to constantly relive a time that's not relevant to have you lost in your current potency of the energy that you possibly could be dealing with today. So what does that speak to? The world is so permeated with false knowledge, you don't create a science that focuses on you. Everybody want to go back to yesterday, but your energy is not the same in yesterday. Your spiritual energy is not the same from yesterday. Your soul energy is different from yesterday. So focusing on anything that happened way back then, you have to have a whole nother dynamic to measure that as a value. We still walk around here talking about auras and all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did a video, right? It's somewhere in my timeline to where I put my hand this close to the fire, right? Like this. And the fire was like right here in my hand. And I just dropped it. Boom. And lifted my hand up and the fire went out. And I did it in slow motion. Well, I did it, but I slowed it down so people can see what it looks like. you have an energy field around your whole body. You can't see it. It's like it's clear. But when you meditate, or if you're in meditative state, I can see the meditative pulses. Sometimes when my eyes is open, I can see them pulsing around me. Excuse me. And somebody tried to get me sick, yo. So it's coming out though. So I put my hand right here next to the fire, right? And I didn't drop it like this. I seen this female like throwing her hand like this, and then she said she has power. She was like, you know, so I was like, that ain't what it is. And I ain't trying to blow a spot, but I seen her do it, and I was like, no, that's not it. And then people was all liking the post. I was like, yo, people, they just jump on anything as far as the value, but that don't mean it's real. Anyway, I put my hand. I did this a minute ago, like 2-3 years ago, but it's still on my YouTube. You can go find it. I put my hand right here next to the fire. The flame is like right here, and I just drop my hand, boom, and lift it up. So when I went to turn my hand, you could see the energy field around my hand bend the fire flame. The fire flame is straight up like this. The energy around my hand bent it, and the whole flame went down like this. And as I pushed it down, the flame said, woof, and it dissipated. It wasn't like a blowout. It wasn't woof, like that. It was boom. You know what I'm saying? Boom. Boom. Because you don't need force. You have the energy around you. And that energy is actually weighted. Just like your soul has weight, the energy around you, it has a weight. So you don't have to. Sometimes you can be in somebody's face like this and they can feel your energy off your hand. That's because you have a force around you. And if you on point with your energy, you could throw a punch and never touch them, but it'll knock them back. All right, so that's just something different. So the point to the value is the height of where the seeds were when they were placed there. Their energy was so high, they were in an almighty state of understanding. They didn't feel like something was going to happen to them or detriment or anything like that. They were divine. They wasn't even open from the seeds, you know, being able to deal with whatever turmoil. That energy was so potent. You couldn't come within, you know, radiuses of it at one time of existence. But because the fallen was so weak, they never documented these things to teach. That's why they were underground. They were hiding. You know what I'm saying? Because that divine energy was potent. They could only come out. And when they got a chance to come out, they knew it was time, or they knew that the energy was just right for them to try to get it or fight back and usurp it in a certain way. Everything has to have a cause and effect. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't going to just say, all of a sudden, I got a culture of people, we coming out and try. No, you get washed up. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, so they watched and planned and plotted. And then when they did finally, you know, create a creation, they started inducting and adding falsities to the creations, right? That means ways of thinking, ways of living, and all this stuff like this. And this is how we got structures of presidency, understanding, oppression, false authorities like the police and stuff like that. Like, that's how you got all this fake going around right now. This is why you have even movies like a lot of the divine beings, they gave away their light. They didn't lose their light. They gave it away. This is why people keep talking about selling your souls and all that. You can't sell something that's not yours in the first place. Secondly, they didn't sell their soul. They gave it away out of fear, because the forerunner energies, like the big dogs, you know what I'm saying, they wasn't here to protect them or make them feel confident enough to fight back. So what they did was they traded their light for attention. This is why you got money, TV, and all that. I be looking at some of the celebrities, yo. You know what I'm saying? And I be seeing them. I be like, yo, they don't know. I can tell who they are. I just don't remember the names all the time. But I can tell who they are. And I'm like, wow, you gave it all away. I remember when I don't know why I say stuff like that to myself, but it's like I can see them in different times. You know what I'm saying? And I can see them with a different confidence and a different spiritual energy that would set them apart from being a celebrity. But they gave that up for celebrityhood, for attention and money. And that's why they're not fulfilled today. They'll never be fulfilled because they gave away the thing that divine gave them. You can't sell it. You have to give it away. That's the only way you can separate from it. Just something to think about. So the different times that existed, it was beings before the Egyptian understanding. It was beings that didn't need sustainability, meaning they didn't need to eat. They didn't need to, and it wasn't just women. Okay, y'all need to stop with that, for real. It wasn't just women, because I'm going to do that on a whole nother bill, because I'll be talking about it, but I ain't got time for the egotistical stuff tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not about to go all of that. We 15 minutes in. I can't believe that took that long. It felt like I just started. So there's times that existed where these beings that were here, and you got to keep in mind, they didn't need anything from existence. They didn't need that type of understanding for love. They didn't need food. They didn't need sleep. You know what I'm saying? Everything was a light frequency. But they were beings. They didn't need housing. You know what I'm saying? They didn't need pyramids. None of that. They was just here. Probably buried, to keep it 100. And think about it. Why would burying a person be important? Right? You bury seeds. You know what I'm saying? Why would you need a house if you're a seed, a light seed? So they probably was in the ground. But in the same breath, if I bury you without that energy, you'll just decay. So then we got funerals and stuff like that. Now, in that same understanding, that would be a retrospect too, to see why the cities were built under the ground. Because it was closer to where the divine seeds were. And they could have access to them. You know they ain't strong by themselves, right? They have to get fed. And they have to get fed off negative energy. So they use other things to make them do that. And I even saw this one guy on the, I can't remember the name of his channel, Spiritual something, and he was talking about, say everything, say that you are this, and say that you're that, and say that you're not supposed to speak things into existence. You're supposed to vibrate them into existence. Because when you speak things outwardly, right, when you speak it outwardly, you give it to, because they have mechanisms now. They have, like, that's how they siphon energy. So the strongest energy is going to come out of the words you say. How you feel about it. Your intention behind what you're saying. So what they do is they'll get you to speak these things. And while you're speaking them, it can be snatched from you. That's why you be like, yo, I was thinking, and then it didn't happen. Because you're talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this type of conversation right here, it's not speaking on anything that I'm trying to get to. I'm just telling you a level of truth. So they can take that all day. They just going to be mad. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to be mad that they heard in remembrance to a value that they don't stand to. So that's fine. But for the rest of it, you embodying these energies, it gets snatched right off of you. Why you think when you play roles in movies, like how they said Tupac played Juice and then he started acting gangster? Well, Will Smith played, what was that? Hancock, which is symbolic to Heru, right? But he couldn't stay in that energy because he borrowed it. Don't let that go over your head. He borrowed it for the movie. So it works like that. They'll let you keep certain low-level energies because it'll be destructive to you. And they know you don't know what to do with your energy right now. They know you don't know the potency of your energy right now in this time. You know what I'm saying? So it's easier to have you manipulated because you like stories. You like to sit around and chop up the tea. You know what I'm saying? How y'all be saying we got today's tea and all this. Like, the world is shot to shit right now. All of y'all is. Like, y'all just run y'all mouth and flip a card. Like, I be seeing it redundantly. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. They using old methods that was used back in the day to explain certain electrical frequencies. And the energies are so more potent today, you're not even getting accurate readings. Like most of the readings, it's because you have an energy focused directly on you, and you can speak for that one. I haven't heard. I'll go to like mad cancer joints, and like out of all the ones I see, it's probably one or two people that are hit close to something about me, right? So I'm like, dang, yo, they don't never read accurately. You know what I'm saying? So it be those values, but it's not even for me to even focus on those things because I know, me personally, I know the energies is different. You know what I'm saying? I know the energies is on a whole nother scale. And to make your energy come to a higher attribute within yourself, it's not, see, and they even put it in the Bible. At the end of the days, everybody be selfish, focus on themselves. They did that because they knew at the end you was going to start tapping into something. So they wanted you to feel bad about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it should be crazy, yo, how they manipulate the minds over and over and over and over and over. And then feel fit to have everybody in the same dynamic. Like, this shit's stupid. And if people are saying, yo, I woke up, I'm awake. You're not awake. If you was awake, you wouldn't be talking. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is why I stay away from the internet sometimes. Like, I'll just not say nothing because I'm too busy feeling that energy. I'm like, I'll be laying down sometimes and I can see the posters around me. That's a whole day worth of focus. Sometimes I can go outside and I'm attracting animals and insects and stuff like that. I can, like, you see how fast the ants come around my feet, and there'd be nothing around where I'm at. But as soon as I get there, they're coming in swarms. And they all around my feet. Like, they just running around me. Butterflies and dragonflies and mayflies and all types of just animals. You know what I'm saying? Like, all lizards. Oh, man. Birds and all types of shit. Like, they just be all around wherever I'm at. And I'm like, yo, it's crazy. You got to understand, yo. They try to give you certain things to dampen your energy. They believe different foods and all that dampen your energy. It's nothing going to dampen divine nothing. Okay? So stop saying, yo, protect yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's for people who failed to listen to their first thought. Like, if you're not fully aligned with divine, yeah, you need to do something because you don't listen no way. You effing hard-headed. So yeah, it's easy to get you caught up. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to get you caught up because you're going to fail anyway. You do that every day. You hard-headed. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, certain people, they may need some form of protection because you don't listen to the Almighty anyway. But that's not for people who truly believe in it. And keep in mind, religion, that ain't got nothing to do with you focusing directly on divines. You can call out whatever name you want to call that. You's a fool. You sitting there wasting divine time because divine don't know who them people is. Let's say whatever you want. Divine don't know who them people is. And keep in mind, all these stories is given to you. Like I heard this female say, God told me to tell you to protect yourself. Is that not the biggest oxymoron in the world? Like, that's, you know what the oxymoron is, right? Two things that don't match. So how would the Almighty, which is almighty over all things, tell you to go protect yourself? When even in their same understanding, divine said, fight no wars because this is not a war for you. This is my war. That's what they say in their religion. So why you need to protect yourself if divine is protecting you? Who are you talking to? What are you praying to? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what makes you think about, damn, yo, who she really praying to? Because she just really said that like divine weak. Anyway, some of these things is stupid to me. Like, I don't even like talking about some of these things. But I see that a lot of the minds are stuck in that direction, and there's nothing you can do but speak on it. In this world, people are superficial. Somebody try to take your life for money. People will lie still, hide your life, hide your birth, hide your existence. They want to hide everything. These people are part of the fallen, yo. I can remember all the way back when I was a kid. I was about to say something about Sugarloaf Mountain, but I ain't gonna bring that up right now. Like I tell y'all about that another time. But and how I remember everything that took place, regardless. It's so deep, yo. It's so deep how the things in this world play out and how selfish energy exists. And not for nothing, the easiest thing for you to do is to serve love instead of serve your selfish self. If you serve love on every aspect, no matter what it is, it's going to multiply. That's a fact. But what happens is when you dive deep into that other side, it's like you know, if a crackhead smoke a crack, you know what I'm saying? If you have been around the streets, right? And I came up in the streets, so if you ever seen a crackhead, you know what I'm saying, they getting high. Before they high, they talkative, they nice. They'll give you a cigarette, you know what I'm saying? They cool, they know they going through some stuff, but they looking for the next hit right now, so you might be able to help them out. But as soon as they get that hit, they can't move their mouth, the mouth stuck. They're looking out the windows, peeping and stuff. They don't know what to do, you know what I'm saying? Like they lost. That's because they're in two different states of mind at that moment. You know what I'm saying? So you can't ask a crackhead when he high for something that takes a lot of talking. They're not gonna really hear you like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that. When you are dealing with the negative energy, you think that you're still thinking clearly. But that energy has taken you over so much, you start believing your own lies. You start believing your own negative energy. Facts. And it intoxicates a person. So then you find yourself making up stories about what's going to happen. You're in your head that much to where later you like, this going to happen, that's going to happen, this ain't going to happen. That's because you're high off the crack. You high off dealing with the negative energy at the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, so this is why you don't never see negative really fix when they or take accountability, because they're too intoxicated by their actions. And you can see it all over them. You can see it all over them. It looks crazy. Like, yo, wow, you really just out here like that. And you think you got the right to be like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you pray for them. That's all you can do is pray for them. Give it to the divine. If you've been watching me for a minute, you know I say people don't even pray right. You're not supposed to pray to a son. That's how they took that from you and resurfaced. They said, pray through my son to the Almighty. That's not how it goes. There's plenty of sons out here. There's plenty of children of the Most High. So when you see they have problems, you see there's infractions in their life, you pray through them. Your intention of focus, your intention from you, from your heart space, to whoever needs help. So whoever needs help, you pray for them through them. So now you're pushing their energy off of them straight to the divine. Now divine can see, because you pushed it off with your intention to divine, divine can see what's wrong with that person and fix the mechanics on its timeline to send it going in its right direction. That's how you really pray. You don't pray for stuff. You ask divine to fix what he already built or created for you to be on. That's respect. I'm going to keep saying this, yo. Like, and everybody keep going back to the Egyptians. That was only the time when they were able to understand what to do with their energy before they lost it or had it drop down to this level where we at now. But before they were even there, they were pure light bodies. And these wasn't no females walking around like we're goddesses. It wasn't that. No, that's not what it is. That wasn't what it was. To be physical, you had to come down to this level. So that means you lost a level of frequency. You lost a level of light that brought you here. And then that started breaking up things in the value. The world or other people that are created falsely can't see anything other than what's taught to them, titled, and explained from a value. So they have to live based off ego. It's a fact. So this is why you got titles on everything. This is why everything has a name. Because they don't know nothing else. They don't know how to do stuff. You got to name it when you don't know how to do it. That's how that works. I ain't going to hold you. Just trying to show you something. NAGA the Wise. And not for nothing, I'm about to start falling back a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? If y'all got all the way to the end of this, Put 100 in the comment section. Let me know you got to the end. But I'm about to start falling back even more because I'm not keep giving y'all this knowledge for free. I got like a whole bunch of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And everybody just want me to talk. No, I ain't gonna keep talking, yo. And I know people be watching my video without clicking on my video. That's why I took off the automatic play, because I don't even know how it got turned back on. I didn't turn it back on. They probably do that behind the scenes or whatever just to get my shit to be like that. But I remember when I turned it off months ago and it was back on. Like somebody just turned my shit back on their own. But yeah, with that being said, I ain't gonna hold you, just trying to show you something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't even mad. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mad. I hope y'all take the knowledge and do the right thing with it. But if you want to be better now, stop going to tomorrow, because tomorrow can't help you. Your energy is more concentrated now. You need to focus on how you can see what you have for yourself now. You understand what I'm saying? You got to understand what that is. And if you want to grow that, hit me up. I do consultations. I can show you how to grow that light. You know what I'm saying? We can have an in-depth conversation. Hit me up. I do consultations. I don't charge much. You know what I'm saying? By the hour or so. Let's build. You know what I'm saying? I can give different people personal references to a value because it's not the same for everybody. You know what I'm saying? It depends on how you comprehend and what your energy is already aligned up with. So with that being said, yeah, that's how that works. No religion is not real. It's not real. I know y'all grew up on it. Your people grew up on it and all that. They was trying. They created. You already had the tongue that was building confusion. So they had to give you something to anchor yourself to. Especially make it fake. Because they definitely don't want you grabbing on to what was the concentrated energy. So it started out with fear. Once they've got that ripple inside you, you was lost from everything that you had. So now you needed something to represent that value of familiarity. As soon as they gave you that with religion, that's how you got mixed in that, because you can feel it just enough to keep you sustained. And it was more fear than it was you knowing your reality. So that's how you started being able to feed the other beings off your negative energy. That's how this really worked. NAGA the Wise.